stuck in the weight loss yo-yo? You lose the weight, you look great, you buy new clothes. People compliment you. And then, quietly, the weight comes back. Sometimes a little extra. Is this you? If this is you, you're in the right place. Well, believe it or not, this will be the easiest journey you have ever undertaken. This is the channel to help you rewire your brain for lasting weight loss. So today, let's talk about willpower. If willpower actually worked, most of us would have finished this whole weight loss thing years ago and moved on with our lives. Why, we'd be thin, confident, and slightly insufferable about it all. But here we are, still trying, still starting over, still wondering why. Something that seems so simple feels so hard. And that's where I want to begin today. Because this isn't a personal failure. It's about a misunderstanding. Willpower has never been the solution. And it's not because you didn't try hard enough. Most of us were taught that the weight loss is a matter of discipline. That if we could just get serious, stick to it, or want it badly enough, well, then everything would fall into place. And for a while, that idea seems to work. We start strong. We feel motivated. We make rules. We promise ourselves, this time will be different. And then life shows up. We get tired. We get stressed. We have a bad day, a long day, or an emotional draining day. Something unexpected happens. And suddenly, the willpower that felt so solid a few hours ago has quietly slipped out the back door. That's not weakness. That's biology. Willpower is not an unlimited resource. It's more like a phone battery. You wake up with it charged, and every decision you make during the day drains it a little. What to wear, what to say, how to respond, what to handle, what to hold together. By the time evening arrives, many of us are running on fumes. And when willpower is low, the brain looks for relief, fast, familiar relief. That's where food often enters the picture. Food doesn't require planning. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't need motivation. It's available, reliable, and comforting. And when your nervous system is tired, overwhelmed, or emotionally stretched, food works. Not because you're undisciplined, but because you're human. This is where shame usually sneaks in. We tell ourselves we blew it, that we were good all day, then ruined everything, that if we could just try harder, tomorrow things would be different. And that cycle, effort, exhaustion, guilt, resolve, repeats itself over and over again. Not because you don't care, but because willpower was never designed to carry this much weight. There's another part of this that rarely gets talked about. Willpower works best in calm, predictable environments. And most of us, well, we don't live in calm, predictable environments. We live in real lives with responsibilities, emotions, relationships, worries, histories, and habits. Habits that didn't appear overnight. When weight loss advice ignores all of that and focuses only on discipline. It quietly sets people up to fail, and then it blames them when it happens. That's not fair, and it's not accurate. What's really happening has much more to do with habits and emotional patterns than with strength of character. Habits live in a part of the brain that runs automatically, especially under stress. They show up when we're tired, not when we're motivated. They don't respond to lectures. They respond to familiarity and safety. So when someone says you just need more willpower, what they're really saying is ignore how your brain actually works. And that advice has cost a lot of people a lot of self-trust. Here's something important to understand. Every time you've tried to use willpower to override an emotional or habitual response, you were fighting the strongest part of your nervous system with the weakest tool you had. That's not a fair fight, and yet most people blame themselves for losing it. What if, instead of asking why you keep running out of willpower, you asked, why so much is being demanded of it in the first place? What if the issue isn't that you lack discipline, but that you've been relying on the wrong mechanism to solve the problem? Because lasting change doesn't come from forcing yourself to behave. It comes from understanding why certain behaviors make sense in the first place. This is where things begin to shift. When you stop seeing eating as a failure of willpower and start seeing it as a response to stress, emotion, fatigue, loneliness, boredom, or overwhelm, the conversation changes. You're no longer fighting yourself. You're listening, and listening creates space. Space creates choice, and choice creates change. That doesn't mean you never eat for comfort again. It means you stop being at war with it. And oddly enough, when the war ends, the behavior often softens on its own. This is also why starting over feels so familiar. We start over when we believe effort alone will fix the problem. We gather our willpower and make new promises and hope this time it lasts. And when it doesn't, we feel discouraged. Not because we failed, but because we were working with an incomplete understanding. Once you see that willpower was never meant to carry this alone, something lifts. The pressure eases. The shame quiets, and curiosity replaces judgment. That's the beginning of a very different relationship with food. Notice I didn't give you what to do with foods. I said your relationship with food. In the work we're doing here on Mind Over Muffins, we're not trying to make you more disciplined. We're trying to make this whole experience more humane, more realistic, more aligned with how change actually happens. Because weight loss that relies on force eventually creates exhaustion. Weight loss that's built on understanding creates sustainability, and that's where we're heading. So if you've ever wondered why you can be so strong in so many areas of your life and still struggle here, I want you to hear this clearly. This was never a willpower issue. It was a system issue. And once you understand that, you can finally stop blaming yourself. In the next video, we'll take this one step further and talk about why knowing what to eat has never been enough and what actually creates change when information alone doesn't. For now, just let this land. You didn't fail. You were using the wrong tool for the job. And now, we're choosing a better one. So if you want to hear more about rewiring your brain for lasting weight loss, please subscribe. It really helps us share with others. If you know someone who can benefit from this advice, please share. Meanwhile, take care, keep smiling. Until the next time, bye for now.